Hey there everyone, it's Emily here. I hope you're doing well. Today I want to offer some strategies for resiliency. I know that much of our current situation is out of our control, and so it's really important to recognize what is in our control in this time. Of course, right now there's a lot of emotional challenges, which is producing a lot of fear and anxiety for people. And while we can't control necessarily the sources of our fear and anxiety, we can make steps towards improving our overall mental health. So today I want to talk about 4 different ways that we can manage this fear and anxiety and move towards a posture of resiliency. The first strategy I want to talk about is engaging with creativity and culture. So expressing our creativity and connecting with our own cultures can allow our emotions to be released and allow us to process our current situation. So perhaps we can use this time to really engage with our crafty side. So we can do puzzles or cooking, or we can color pictures. We can do organizing, writing even. Anything that has a beginning and an end point in this time could actually be really useful because we could have this sense of accomplishment as we see tasks being done. Additionally, engaging with creativity really helps our adaptability processes, and that's important for now, especially. Secondly, we can think about humor and gratitude. So while it might seem really hard in these times to have a playful spirit or gratitude, it's really important for our resiliency in times of distress. So play is an especially important part of life, and as we engage in playful activities more frequently, we gain a deeper reverence and appreciation for life itself. I know that some of us might feel guilty enjoying our time right now or feel guilty having moments of pleasure, but we can really balance our feelings of sadness and joy with gratitude in these moments. We can still stay vigilant in following the recommendations for social distancing, and we can stay informed with the news while also taking pauses in the day. We can go out for a walk or a run. We can enjoy a cup of tea. We can watch a funny TV show. I've been watching a really funny TV show recently called The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel with my boyfriend, and it's been really great to have some laughs in this time. So perhaps just think for yourself how you can have some fun, maybe write down things you're grateful for. That's a practice I've been doing for some time, and it can really shift your perspective a lot. The third thing that we can do is we can manage our thoughts, and this is what I found especially helpful right now. When fear and anxiety creeps in, sometimes our thoughts can start to spiral out of control. And it can be really tricky to manage these thoughts because sometimes our thoughts convince us that they're facts, when in actuality they're just thoughts. And so by bringing our awareness and becoming an observer of our thoughts, we can take some of that ownership of those thoughts away. So for instance, we can practice labeling our thoughts. One thing that I do is I think about my thoughts as either helpful or unhelpful. So as I meditate or I sit and close my eyes and different thoughts come in and out, I'll just put them in categories as either helpful or unhelpful, and that allows me to have some distance between me and the thoughts, and I can let them pass by a little bit easier. Another thing that we can do is we can start to focus our attention from not just what is out of our control, but what is in our control. What are the things that we do have ownership over, and shifting that attention in our minds can be really helpful. That's kind of connected to the last thing that I want to talk about, which is establishing boundaries and creating a rhythm. There's a lot of different things that we can think about with creating a rhythm right now, but one of the things that could be especially important and useful is by thinking about how much news and information we take in right now. So for most of us, our current situation does not require hourly updates. And so while we may want to stay tuned to the news and information daily, it doesn't necessarily mean that we need all of those notifications constantly. So we can decide also where we want to get our news and information. so we can avoid the same sort of newscasts that are on different networks, repeating the same stories and the same statistics over and over again. If you have other people in your household or older children in your household, it could be a great opportunity to inform and learn with each other about how to get reliable sources for news and information. Also, setting a time of the day for when we're going to get that news could be really helpful. I would actually recommend thinking about getting your news and information more at the beginning part of the day versus the later part of the day, because when we're taking in new information right before we come into a resting state, it can kind of disturb our abilities to relax and rest. So after you've kind of determined how you're going to get that information, where you're going to get it from, then think about how you're going to transition after you receive that information. So maybe you establish this rhythm of taking a shower after you listen to the news, or maybe you go on a walk and get some exercise, maybe you call a friend. Just something that allows you to make that transition so that you can go on and complete the rest of your tasks and duties that you have for the rest of your day. Additionally, I know that this time of working and schooling from home is very different for most of us, and getting those boundaries right for when is school time, when is meal and snack time, and when is rest time could be really important. So if you haven't already, kind of establish those times, maybe even write them out for yourselves. And make that time at night of when you're going to end your work, so that it doesn't just creep in for your whole evening, so that you can still keep that work time and that family time and that self-care time separate. I really hope that these strategies for resiliency have been useful. If there's anything I can do for you, please reach out. Peace and light to you all.